I can do this. All right. Hi everyone, welcome back to Chai with Ping. I am Ping, and thank you for tuning in for this episode. It is a special edition because we are 1 year anniversary. It has been 1 year since I started Chai with Ping and 香料茶时间, both channels in 2020 June. And yeah, by this time, it's already 1 year and I have so much gratitude, and so that's why I decided to do this episode. And as you can probably hear, I am a little nervous because I just haven't been doing a lot of narrative episodes. And I have that fear which I really want to conquer and confront, because I am a great, like a conversationist, a talker probably, but never that much a presenter or a monologue type of person. But anyways, so this episode, I'm gonna cover 5 sections. First, I will talk about the origin of why I started the podcast and my intention around when I first started, and then like what the process are, how I started my podcast, how I learned to make podcasts. The second one, what I'm thankful for the whole year. And then the third one is the challenges that I have met throughout the whole year. And the fourth one is my learnings or inspirations, or, you know, kind of like a realization moment. And then the last section is to respond some of the messages. And yeah, let's get started.
Welcome to Chai with Ping. This is Ping Robert. In this podcast, I cover underrepresented and personal stories. Join me with a cup of chai and take a listen.
All right. First, about the origin of the podcast. Many people ask me the same question, and I put it in the episode 0 as well. I think in the very beginning, I wanted to have something that I can keep on going with my dissertation writing process. I know that I can never focus only on one thing, so I think having a hobby side by side with my dissertation will be very helpful. So when I was listening to one of my favorite singers from Taiwan, and his name is Wei Bird, which is when I say it in English is so weird, but like his Chinese name is Wei Lian. I really like him, and then he started a podcast. So I'm like, okay, what is podcast? It was 2020. I still didn't get it. At that time, I was actually listening to some audiobooks. It was a really new hobby for me, because back in Taiwan or in India, I guess I always rely on videos. And I didn't have that much commute time. But since I moved here to Colorado, I had some commute time, and there was some downtime. I have to do house chores and all that, or like, you know, shopping, doing groceries and all that. So I wanted to have more information, and audiobooks was a great find. And so when Wei Lian started the podcast, I'm like, okay, let me look into what podcast is. So then I click on Spotify. I realized that it is a great resource that I can tap into a lot of different channels, and it's almost like an online radio. So that's how I explain to people who don't know what podcasts are. It is a form of audio programs, and I don't actually have to listen to ads if possible. During that time, it was also, I didn't realize it, but during that time, it was also kind of the trend of a lot of podcasters started their own shows and all that. I was not aware. I look into the YouTube and look for like some Mandarin Chinese resources, how to make podcasts. There were probably like 1 or 2 videos about how to upload, how to find a hosting platform and all that. But then I chose to listen to How to Start a Podcast. It's a series by Brendan Stover. I'll put a link below. I think it was very helpful. He caught every little piece of details into bite sizes, so about 10 minutes a day, and there were 90 episodes in the series. Along with that, he also has a website, and there's some worksheets and resources or whatever things that the listeners will need. I didn't use the whole packet of it. Everything is free on the website. And I felt it was a great start for me to digging into learning how to make podcasts. So I listened to it, and in the middle of it, maybe like episode 30, I started recording my own, and I had like Louis, my husband, to jump in, and my friends around. We just kind of kicked this start, and yeah, we just started from there. I had a goal to create more understanding and awareness around different issues, especially around immigrant stories, cross-cultural experiences, and some minoritized issues. In the beginning, I said minority issues because it's like I didn't have that critical lens, but nowadays, when me and my cohort mates on campus, we were talking about minoritized people or students or issues, it is kind of got into me, but I'll take some time to kind of figure out the tagline of the podcast again. So that's how I started. I really want to start a platform where people like me can share their stories and in a dialogue way of talking. So if for those you don't know what dialogues are, it's basically using I statements and then internalized stories, personal experience and all that. It's not generalized. It's not gonna be a generalization of all the people, or for example, like everyone likes coffee. That's definitely like generalization. I try to encourage the guests to use I statements and explain their stories and their journey. Also finding out some of the root causes. And as much as you know me, probably you know that I'm from Taiwan. English is not my native language, and I'm trying so hard to still learn English after so many years. And throughout the whole journey, I find it really helpful for me to talk to people intentionally with intentional questions. So that was the start. Second piece, something that I'm thankful for. I'm really appreciate all the guests who are willing to come to my show. Some of you guys are my friends. I try to find all friends and family or friends of friends, mutual friends and all that. And also I reach out to some of the people who I find interesting stories are from. Thank you so much for supporting me and referring me people. I have no idea how I got through this stage because after 1 year for both channels, Mandarin and English channels, I have 50 episodes. And without you guys sharing your stories, I would have nothing. I literally have nothing because even just till now, I started talking about my own stories, but because of you guys set an example of sharing, I have the courage to share more about myself as well. A lot of guests, when they come, and then they also bring listeners. They share with their friends and family, their circles and communities. So I see a growth of my listeners. It is, of course, still, there's a lot of room for improvement. It's not as many as I want. And I'm not just being humble here. I really hope that the channel will grow in its listener size. But I also realize that this is a minority channel. Not everyone's gonna listen to it. And if I find the right group of people and grow that community, I think I will be good to go. So if you remember in episode 30, I did a kind of a review, recap, that kind of thing. I felt like my episode have been almost like if I throw a rock into a lake and there's no ripples around it. It has been a little challenging, especially there was not much interaction. It's almost feel like one-sided interaction. I'm trying to get responses or feedback, but I don't know, maybe my listeners are shy or I'm not finding the right way to reach them. Later, I met other podcasters, and especially one is called Pepe. I went on her show and shared about my experience, and then she also shared about some tips about marketing strategy of how she managed her channel and Instagram, social media, and all that. I think from that time, I realized that it's very important to have a peer podcaster with me, or it's just a community that I can ask questions, share experiences, and also just to get some support from each other. So then I started using Anchor for my hostings for both channels, but later I transferred my Mandarin one to First Story, which is a Taiwanese platform. I'm still keeping my English one on Anchor because it's an English platform. I don't know if I should change the hosting because I felt like because I'm Taiwanese, so maybe there will be some leverage if I transfer to a Taiwanese platform. But anyways, that's just something I still have been thinking, but either or, it's not about hosting platforms, it's about content and all. After talking to some podcasters around the world, seriously, around the world, there are many immigrants around the world, and then my topic is about cross-cultural life and away from home, that kind of topics. So then we talk about content and topics and technical issues and all that. I felt like I found a group, and also it kind of strengthened my hobby in my very, very busy routine life. There's almost a event for me to find something which is non-academic, not work-related. I can just do whatever I am interested to do. I'm very grateful for that. And even I think for my interview techniques, I think it has grown a little bit more as well. I'm very thankful for everyone putting up for my weird language usage or grammatical errors and all that. Thank you for listening, and you guys definitely tolerate a non-native speakers a lot, and I'm constantly trying to improve, and cool. The next section is about challenges. So I talked about the whole year hasn't been a very smooth journey. There are many times that I self-doubt. I talk to friends saying that maybe I'm wasting my time doing something that's not even worth my time or energy. Maybe I'm just making a show for my own good and no one else is listening. So there was a lot of confusion, and as I check the numbers of listens and plays or subscribers, it has been frustrating because I don't think I know how to market my channels. And then it's very natural that I don't have a lot of followers because I just don't know how to reach people. And also for the content topic and series and all that, it's a little tricky to figure it out on my own because I don't have a partner. I'm trying to have a podcast partner, but it's just not really feasible for me to do. I asked around. Everyone has their own thing, so still looking. I'm still praying maybe God will open a way for me to have some partners to do it together, or maybe this is just a journey on my own. For the guests, not all the guests want to do a dialogue style, especially it's something personal. So they would like to focus on more of an informative side of their stories, or they share about tips and tricks of their career and all that. And I think that's fine. I don't think everyone is ready for that dialogue, especially it's something very personal and controversial, or it's probably conflicting in their life as well. Do my listeners want to listen to something practical, realistic, or do they really want to listen to a story which there's no conclusion and they probably have to figure it out on their own? I don't know. I'm not sure. What kind of issues are interesting and what issues people want to hear about? I don't know. And there was also a time that I have been struggling to balance my portion of talking. Like, I didn't want to share too much in other people's episodes because I really want to give them the space and time for them to share what they want to say. But until I saw I took a screenshot of my editing process, and I realized that the ratio of me talking and guests talking is almost like me for 10% and the guests will talk 90%. So then no wonder people don't realize who I am, because I don't have a lot of voice in those episodes. I think it's also important for me to create something with my own voice and style. So yeah, that's something I have been I'm trying to learn and to rethink the whole mindset. Another thing is the time and or the length. 50 minutes seemed a lot for a lot of people. I realized that some of the episodes with 20-25 minutes, they get a lot more plays, which is interesting because I think it's also kind of like a commute time. Maybe 25 minutes is an average commute time, or just a different lifestyle. I feel like if we only want to do 20-25 minutes, that will be a short and abbreviated conversation. And if I expand it to 50 minutes, 45-50 minutes, I think that is a sweet spot for me to dive into people's stories. But there are many theories about it, sometimes saying that someone cannot focus more than 25 minutes, but I guess I listen to a lot of 50-minute long episodes, and I'm that kind of listener, so I thought maybe this will be what my listeners will like. Still struggling, I don't know. Also, if the guests share to their own circles, definitely it gets a lot of traffic, but some people are shy or embarrassed to share that, and I realized that the time and effort that we put in doesn't really reach to the target audience because no one else is sharing that. So that's why I have been asking some of you to share a screenshot. If you have comments or reflection, share a screenshot of the episode and then put it on your social media and tag me, Chai with Ping, and I can have an interaction with you, and your friends can probably see it too. Right now, I'm also thinking about doing more chai time. It's more of like a self-narrative episode to have my own voice and to share more of my stories. So, let me know what you think. Another thing I find it challenging is that I am not actually a social media person. Before having a channel, I probably quarterly I post on my Facebook. My Instagram has been just way outdated. So I had to learn a lot more tricks or watch videos or articles to learn how to do social media posts, how to engage my audience, which is also kind of challenging for me because I need to have something to share. But my life is like a regular life. I'm a student. I am also working several jobs. It's not exciting every time, or otherwise that I have to spend more time to find resources and then tag it or post it and all that. So just a lot of limitation of my time and effort and energy because I have so many things on my plate already. Until now, I quit my jobs and then I feel finally there's a breeze and I can think clearly now. So yeah, that's some of the thing about social media. Still learning, and as I learn, I do it, I learn it. About marketing, I have already touched upon it a little bit. I don't really know anything about marketing. I can promote pretty well. I can persuade people pretty well. However, putting my show out there, I have limited access. And I felt like I'm making a lot of content, but I couldn't push it out to the right communities or groups of people. So it's almost like a great gift, but it looks pretty dusty. without a wrapping paper. It doesn't draw much attention or interest to the gift itself. So that's something I need to work on. Number 4. The fourth section is about learning, inspiration, or realization. I realize I'm a really good talker. I mean, not talker as a, having conversations. I can follow up with questions. I can just follow the flow. I rarely have like a script. I'm really good on talking off an outline. But on the other side, I'm not sure if I'm a great narrator. Like I have this feeling like it will be so dry, and like what I want to say might not be helpful for other people, or is it even meaningful? So that's my self-doubt and fear. And the other side of me is like I can be very interactive with other people, and sometimes when I interact with people, then I get funny. But when I'm alone, I'm just like very darn serious and not funny. And a lot of times I feel when we're doing a show, the humor or talk silly can be there, the fun and all that, but I'm not sure if I could do that on my own, like just talking to the microphone and my computer. So that's it. And also one of the challenges about language, I mean, neither of my Mandarin is getting better or English is getting more native. I'm not sure. It's just I'm mixed up with everything. So then I don't get a lot of confidence out of that. The other thing about my learning is making podcasts really requires some level of confidence and also self-discipline. It could be a lonely journey, but I really hope that what I'm doing would reach the people and make some impact. A lot of people ask me to go back to my kind of first love or first goal of the channels. I know I want to do something which not that many people are covering or featuring, and it could be minoritized or it's just like underrepresented. I guess I need to be enjoying it first, then my listeners or my guests will enjoy it. So I will keep working on this one. The last one I want to say is throughout the whole year, there was a lot of racial issues in the US, and I think the whole world kind of noticed that issue as well. And I don't want to say I learned so much so I know everything. No, actually, the racial issues probably is just the beginning for me to understand, okay, there is an issue, there are lots of conflicts and history, there's a lot more that I don't understand. I'm trying to be, humble. It's really uncomfortable to admit that I don't know enough, or a lot of times I have to say I don't know. I have never experienced this. I'm not from here and I'm not educated this way, so I really don't know. It takes a lot of humility, and I think God really uses these opportunities to train me and to keep on learning, I guess. Lifelong learning is always my goal, but when it really comes to reality, it's not really fun. So yeah, it's just like I need to admit to my guests and my listeners, I am not the truth or I'm not the knowledge. I think it's a collaborating or co-creating space for all of us to talk about things and discuss. And sometimes I guess it's not really about conclusions or results, right? It's the journey and the process and realization that counts. So that's about the whole learning that I have. And one last thing I would just want to kind of announce here. As you're listening to this episode, I already made my podcast postcards. I'm gonna have some events coming up to engage more listeners, and some of you will be able to get my self-designed postcards. There are 2 versions of them. I'm really excited. I haven't got it. I know that it will be delivered within a week. I really want to see the end result, and I can't wait to send it to my guests and saying thank you on those postcards. So stay tuned if you want to get my postcards. And I wonder, like, maybe it can be a merch or something. I don't know. I've never done that, and we'll see about that. All right. Is there anything else I want to say before I turn into the next segue? Nothing much. I can't think of it. I will add it later. But I just want to encourage you, if you have been listening for some time, but you haven't really go on Apple Podcasts and give a review or give a star rating, please do so, because this is so important for me, for people who don't know me or don't know the channel. When they look at the page and they can see the ratings and feedback from listeners. I know many of you are listening, but I'm not going to force you because I can't. But it will be really helpful if you think my work is kind of not too bad, right? This is an encouragement I can do to subscribe and to follow or to interact, or even just leave a comment. That will mean so much to me. So I just want to put it out there. I invite you to leave comments. Even on Facebook, there is like a review section on Facebook page as well. And Instagram, I'm here. So follow me or tag a friend who's interested. Tag me when you want to share about something on one episode. Please feel free to do that. All right, we're moving on to the next segment. I'm gonna read some messages. So first of all, I want to thank Tiffany. We met at our church, and she's now in St. Louis now. She has been very encouraging. Thank you, Tiffany, for encouraging me through texts or even comments. I feel deeply of your love, and thank you so much, because there are so many times that I really want to quit or I start doubting myself. But I think, God just sent you or other people as my little angel to remind me there is hope and there is a meaning of having my channel. Thank you for letting me know, like, several episodes that you gave me feedback. You love the conversation between me and Louis. Yeah, it felt great to read your notes. And the other one is, I don't know if David from church is listening. I just share it out in our church group, but he gave me a huge compliment, and I think it's so important because it's not just within the Asian American community. If someone outside of the community also listening, it means so much to me to listen to other people's compliment. And so thank you, David, for encouraging me. And yeah, I strive to improve more and more. Also, I want to thank Rachel and Sarah from church as well. From time to time, they will give me some feedback or responses online that made me feel like, okay, at least someone is listening. So thank you guys. You girls have been a huge encouragement for me. And also Wenwei is my elementary school friend. And she's also in St. Louis. She has been listening to my English channel, and thank you, Wenwei, for giving me like very prompt feedback and encouragement. You probably already know that I need a lot of encouragement in order to carry on. You're also a podcaster, and I really enjoy your show as well. So thank you so much, because it takes a lot of effort to actually just reach out and to express your compliment or what you actually think about the show. Also, I would like to thank Ben and Diane from Denver. They have been very active in promoting my channel to other international students, and that really means a lot to me, because sometimes I feel awkward or shy or embarrassed of keep telling other people that I have been making this podcast. So when you guys initiated to mention like, yeah, Ping is making Chai with Ping, and then listen to her stories and all that, it really is a great encouragement. I also like to thank Daphne. Daphne has been on my Mandarin side of the show, and She referred several Asian adoptees to me, and thank you, Daphne. Like, you're almost like a community gatherer or leader, and you always have great ideas, like even for kombucha, or now for a series that I really want to look into is the Asian adoptees in the US. Thank you so much for referring me to the community. And I think Augie from Hungary, and I think she's living in the UK, she also shared some of the social media tips with me. It's so interesting because on Instagram or Facebook, I get to meet a lot of people which I have never imagined I would meet. So it is a great opportunity to actually listen to different people in different communities, and we can share what we have and help each other. Yeah, so that is about all. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's almost 30 minutes and it's episode 52. It's 1 year. Thank you again for supporting me, encouraging me, and keep the feedback coming. I probably need to learn to, take it better and not to be harmed or hurt by all the constructive tips and all that. But yeah, it's a learning process. I would really appreciate if you want to have interaction with me online. And yeah, keep your stories coming. I have the link in the episode note, which you can actually submit your stories or even refer guests to me. So there is a Google form when you click that Linktree link. So yeah. Well, there will be a lot more interesting episodes coming. I'm planning ahead, and I am just excited to see how the channel will pan out for the second year. All right, so signing off. This is Ping. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow me. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chai with Ping. If you think someone will benefit from this episode, don't forget to share with them. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you like my show, you can buy me a chai with small gifts. Details are in the episode notes. Till next time!